Welcome back to another episode of Say What Needs to Be Said. I'm your host, Asante, Mr. Pick Six Samuel, two-time Super Bowl champion, record breaker, all that stuff, man. I'm the cornerback. I'm him. I've been him. You know what I mean? And I'm here to say what needs to be said. I'm always going to tell y'all what needs to be said. Man, a lot of people out there, they can't voice their opinions the way Asante Samuel voices opinions. Some people have to hold back in what they really want to say because they have a handler. They have people that are in control of their lives and their destiny and their livelihood and things like that. Hey, and I'm just happy, man, that I'm blessed and I'm able to say whatever I need to say, you know what I mean? But tonight we're going to get into, man, A.J. Brown. A lot has been going on with A.J. Brown, and I've played for a lot of different teams, so I have a very unique perspective of things. And we're going to get into some Shedeur Sanders. The competition in Cleveland is heating up. And it may be surprising to some of us, man. But if you understand who Shedeur is and you've been following, man, the man can play ball, man. He can play ball. So, man, the finals is on tonight, man. New York is up 2-0. And I don't know, Victor Wembanyama. Yeah, man, they need to come through, man. But we need to do what we need to do over here, say what needs to be said. So that's why we rocking out tonight, man. Shout out to the chat, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hype it up. Man, y'all cheer me on, man. Y'all know we all need a little pat on the back sometimes to feel good about ourselves and what we're doing, man. So salute to y'all. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And salute, throw your 22s up in the chat, man. I talk back, man. But, man, from Super Bowl appearances, coaching conflicts, to players having issues, right? These are two teams. Two out of the three teams I played with has garnered lots of attention for the past 5 years or so. You know, we got the Patriots and the Eagles. They have been all over league news lately. Like I say, 5 years or so. And the Patriots head coach was a teammate of mine, for better understanding if you didn't know out there. You know what I mean? So let's get into it. What's going on here? No, A.J. Brown did not say he leaked Eagle stories to the media. Yes, okay. If y'all heard what A.J. Brown, he sat down with the young lady and basically blasted the Philadelphia Eagles. And yes, A.J. Brown did not say he leaked the Eagles story to the media. What he said was he purposely pushed stories to the media to prepare his team to work on problems they were having. Now, what I don't understand, what the hell is the difference? What is the difference between what A.J. Brown said and leaking stories? It's all the same thing. I mean, you don't have to be an anonymous a source and say something crazy, right? If you say something crazy and people know who you are, they don't know who you are, they're gonna figure it out somehow, some way. You know what I mean? But I want to know, like, how does A.J. Brown teammates trust him after hearing his comments about putting out stories to help motivate his teammates? Not leaking stories to bash teammates or things like that. I guess he doesn't want it to sound like that, even though he set the situation up nice and beautiful. He doesn't want it to sound like that. But if I had to trust A.J. Brown as a teammate of mine, I wouldn't hold anything against him at first, right? I wouldn't hold those comments against him. But how he handles adversity moving forward would concern me. That would be my concern, basically. But as soon as anything starts to happening, you know, from A.J. Brown, now it's time to attack the issue head on and make sure A.J. Brown or his issues isn't a problem moving forward where he can't be a cancer to the team. I was genuinely confused who and what was the problem when the Eagles had internal conflicts on the team. I didn't know which way it came from. You know, a lot of us assumed it was Jalen Hurts, and some of us assumed it was A.J. Brown. Right? It was a little confusing, but all the signs continued to point towards A.J. Brown. Look at this. All right, look at this, man. Look at this. Now, I don't know if it's this is just weird to me, but this is some weird shit going on. I'm telling you, this is some weird shit going on right here. Out of all the jersey numbers to pick, A.J. Brown went back to rocking the number 1. Mr. Uno. Isn't that what they call Jalen Hurts in Philly? Uno. He went back to rocking number 1. Now, I understand A.J. Brown wore number 1 in college. But since he's been in the NFL, the league, he has rocked number 11. I'm just saying. And yeah, maybe he did want to switch back to rocking number 1 when he was traded to the Eagles, but it was already taken by Uno, Jalen Hurts. But now that A.J. Brown expresses feelings only make me feel, or only makes it seem let me repeat that. Yeah, because this is crazy. But after hearing everything that A.J. Brown had to say, setting up a beautiful moment, setting up a moment where he's feeling comfortable in his house, I think it was his house. He picked the person he wanted to interview him. So after watching and hearing what he had to say, after he expressed his feelings, it only makes it seem like A.J. Brown has a little jealousy going on here. That's all I could think of. To me, it seems like A.J. Brown has some character issues, some issues with, I don't know. I mean, he had an awesome career in Philly. You know, sometimes he wasn't getting the ball probably as often as he wanted and things like that. But it's not this deep. Not this deep how he making it. You know what I mean? But why, if you ask A.J. Brown, do I think A.J. Brown has shown that he has some jealousy tendencies and things like that? I only could think that this is part of his character. Everything that he has shown. He says there is no bad blood. Him and Jalen Hurts basically grew apart. A.J. Brown said he and Jalen Hurts' friendship isn't as close as it once was. And they basically grew apart. When I hear someone take that stance, like A.J. Brown did, admitting nothing happened, but admitting their friendship isn't the same anymore, that just tells me the issues are coming from A.J. Brown. When someone stands up and say, me and such don't have any issues, we just grew apart. 9 times out of 10, the issues and the problem is coming from that person. They just don't want to admit it. They don't want to take accountability for their actions. How much growing apart from your teammate can there be? How much growing apart can there possibly be? Unless your teammate is out here doing some outrageous, crazy things that could jeopardize our livelihoods and things like that. But football players don't even hang out as much as, they once was in their younger days. When you get older, you stop hanging out. You may talk on the phone from time to time. So as far as coming to the locker room, getting ready to whoop the next opponent's ass, how much growing apart is there to be? What possibly changed to make A.J. Brown feel that way? Man, Jalen Hurts is probably somewhere so confused, looking at Jalen Hurts like, what is going on? What happened? What is going on? What happened? That's all I can think of. Check this out again, man. What does it look like to y'all? I mean, he went back to pick this number. We didn't, hey, he could have chose a lot of different numbers to choose from, but he chose to go back to numero uno. It's all good, right? It's all good. But only time will tell, you know? Only time will tell. Because whether we like it or not, 9 times out of 10, we've experienced some sort of jealousy in our lives. Maybe it's being a little jealous of something someone has or what they've accomplished or something like that. Or someone in our inner circle, maybe a close friend that can't handle our success, your success. Whatever the circumstances may be, depending on the level of jealousy, it can be very dangerous, man. It can be very dangerous. Now, don't get being competitive confused with jealousy. Now, I think that's a fine line and a thin line right there in itself. You know, some people are very competitive to the point where it may seem like they may be a little jealous. And it's just the competitive nature in that person wanting to outshine, or propel further than the next man's or the next person's success. Maybe they play the same position. Maybe they've been a childhood friend. And some people look at, competition like it can be jealous, a little jealousy. You know what I mean? And that can get a little tricky. But at the end of the day, New England Patriots was the only team willing to give up their first round pick for A.J. Brown, and not the 2027 first round pick. Ended up being the 2028 first round pick, the 2029 second round pick or third round pick, and so on and so forth. Now, for the New England Patriots and head coach Mike Vrabel, I hope this is an old attraction from Mike Vrabel, from what he used to seeing from A.J. Brown back in their Tennessee days, thinking he's the same player he once was in Tennessee. Because he's definitely not. By a long shot, he's definitely not. But what I don't understand is, why would A.J. Brown purposely set up a moment to say what he had to say, along with all the other signs he showed us? That only tells me A.J. Brown was definitely the problem. He was the cancer on the team, and he knew that he can cause so much drama and confusion based off what he can say. And that's the things that gave him a hard on and things like that. That's what made him excited. That what stroked his ego, I guess. As we can tell, as we can see. You was traded, you can leave Philly, go to the Patriots and let bygones be bygones. Didn't even have to say anything. But there are so many incidents that occurred during AJ's time with the Eagles that pointed directly to him as the teammate, as the teammate, as the cancer on the team, from him showing a lack of respect to the head coach, to him giving up on plays when probably would have been touchdowns. Jalen Hurts is putting the ball out there, trying to target A.J. Brown while he complaining about not getting the football. Plus, A.J. Brown being a distraction on and off the football field. Now, there's a rumor going around that I'm hearing that part of the problem was A.J. Brown had a problem with Jalen Hurts not targeting him and throwing those balls in those tight window spots. If he's saying that was a problem and he's making an issue out of that, that is very petty and minor. It only continues to point at A.J. Brown as him having some character flaws. And the Patriots better watch out. Because people can't hide from themselves too long. It's only so long they can fake it until they make it, or fake it until they have the leverage to be who they really want to be. Like I said, as the Patriots are concerned, I can see A.J. Brown being a success. Like I said, put him in the same place as Stephon Diggs, he's going to have a lot of success. Minus the character issues and character flaws, When it's time to play football, for the most part, he goes and play football. But giving up on plays and quitting on your teammates is a no-no. Can't do that. Now the pressure is on A.J. Brown to make things right and prove that he wasn't the problem. Even if he understands he's the problem, he's going to try to prove that he wasn't the problem. He will be on his best behavior for at least the first couple of years, as long as he can hold any of his diva ways back. It's hard for receivers to hold it back. The receivers are naturally a diva. They're not born to have that dog in them as an NFL prospect. The defensive players, cornerbacks, safeties, you have to be a dog to play on defense. Offensive players, they are divas. They pretty. Give me the ball. That's their thing. But A.J. Brown said it himself, man. He put stories out to help his team, basically, right? To help propel his team or help his team work on issues. Now, he has brought some unwanted attention to the New England Patriots. A lot of unwanted attention. Attention that may make or rub some of the players the wrong way. Because now they're probably scared and concerned about conversations in the private that they might have with A.J. Brown, worried if he may go tell someone. But now he want to go back and say he won't do this anymore. But the damage is already done. Everyone already knows and understands exactly who you are, A.J. Brown. Now, the New England Patriots, they had a pretty good receiving group after they signed Romeo Doubs. Right? They had Romeo Doubs and they had DeMario Douglas. It was pretty cool. It was pretty set. Along with can't think of his Mac, can't think of his name. But they already was pretty cool at this receiving group, right? Now, only thing I can see moving forward is A.J. Brown coming into this receiving court, this receiver room, and when things not going his way, I got to go back to acting like I normally act. I got to show him who I really am because I demand the football. But he got Coach Mike Vrabel on his side, man, and I know Coach Vrabel, being that he's been fighting for 2+ years to bring A.J. Brown over there and make amends with him. So he's going to make sure, or not make sure, he's going to try his hardest to make sure A.J. Brown is getting the football. And Josh McDaniels is a hell of an offensive coordinator. I will put him down as top 3, top 5 in the history of the NFL. And Josh McDaniels, he's a very awesome offensive coordinator. So like I said, A.J. Brown, he will be a success for the New England Patriots, but how long that success will last before he blows up the spot, make everything about him, from reading the books on the sideline to attacking the coach, to accusing his teammates of stealing his car and telling people he's on that and he want to run a fade and all those different type of things. Same thing in Tennessee, man. Can't hide from yourself. So, like I say, wide receivers are natural divas, man, and A.J. Brown is a diva along with all the other receivers. And we'll see how, man, this plays out. Man. So how we doing out there in the chat? How we doing out there? Yeah, man, Monday night vibes, man, and I'm feeling good, man. Football season around the corner. Mini camp, teams are starting to head to mini camp and get the mini camps underway, things like that. So football season is cranking up, baby. Football season is cranking up. And we got Shedeur Sanders coming up next, man. And Shedeur Sanders, what a surprise, man. What a surprise. Y'all would not believe it. But what are the chances, right? What are the chances Shedeur Sanders somehow beats out Deshaun Watson for the starting quarterback role? Slim to none? Is it a 50-50 chance? Or is it an 80%, 90% chance that Shedeur Sanders actually beat Deshaun Watson out for the starting role as the quarterback, as QB1? Either way it goes, if Shedeur does beat Deshaun Watson, I believe it will be a hard decision to make for the first time head coach in the NFL. I don't think Todd Monken has the guts to name Shedeur Sanders the starter day one for the start of the regular season. That's a very hard task for a first-time head coach to pull when you have a 8-year vet making a ton of money. You understand? If Shedeur shows he deserves to be the starter, I can see Todd Monken second-guessing himself. Like, what decision makes the most logical sense for him to stay in good standings with the owners? That would be his decision. That's my guess. Browns Insider reveals how Shedeur Sanders has narrowed the gap with Deshaun Watson in the QB1 battle. It said, while it appeared for much of the offseason program that Deshaun Watson had the edge over Sanders based on his superior athleticism and experience. Superior athleticism and experience. Sanders seemed to have narrowed the gap the past couple of weeks with his grasp on the playbook and increased efficiency in practice, Cabot wrote. Rather than having a set idea about his quarterback by the end of minicamp, there seems to be a shift in Todd Monken's thinking now. By the final week of OTAs, Todd Monken hedged on having his quarterback depth chart set coming out of minicamp and might hold off to naming or even determining his quarterback one until sometime during training camp. That's big ups to Shedeur Sanders right there. Todd Monken been stated that he wanted to make his decision on the quarterback earlier rather than later. And all that meant that he was going to go with Deshaun Watson. But as far as the athleticism, Deshaun Watson being more athletic and having the experience, those were exactly my thoughts why Deshaun Watson would easily win this battle. Deshaun Watson, athleticism along with his ability to get the ball down the field gave Watson the better chance at winning the job, right? But like I said before, Deshaun Watson just doesn't look the same throwing the football like he once was or like he once did in Texas. I mean, he looked like he was the next thing coming in Houston. Then boom, all the distraction, all the craziness started to happen and so on and so forth, right? I could see Shedeur being a much, much more accurate passer than Deshaun Watson, right? I can see him being a much more accurate passer than Deshaun Watson at this point in their careers. Accuracy wins unless a quarterback has exceptional running ability. Accuracy will win all day because the point for quarterbacks is to get the ball down the field. Get the ball down the field. Now, what did Mary Cabot say? What did Mary Cabot say? Shedeur is closing the gap by getting the grasp on the new playbook much faster than the competition. Now, if you remember, during the draft process about a year ago, Shedeur Sanders was blasted by the New York Giants staff for not being prepared and slow to understand a play installation package or something to that extent, right? Shedeur Sanders was getting blasted. How easily we forget the past. I just think it's crazy that coaches want to control the narrative because they have issues and feelings and character flaws of not being fair in their evaluation process. So they have to create narratives so they don't look like the bad guy or the person that's not making the right decision for their team. You know, and I think that's exactly what happened to Shedeur Sanders. You know, how easily we forget. But it's too early for Todd Monken to understand what he's dealing with as a head coach with new quarterbacks, you know. But he has to make a decision sooner rather than later. And for the New York Giants, too bad, so sad. Shedeur could have saved Brian Daboll's job if he didn't attack Shedeur Sanders for the same reasons he's being praised for by his new head coach. He's closing the gap because he's understanding play installation, playbook, the new playbook, the new terms, and so on and so forth. And he's also getting the ball down the field, getting the ball out of his hands. New York Giants pass on Shedeur Sanders due to private workout preparations. It said ahead of the draft, McShay. This is Sean McShay. Ahead of the draft, McShay revealed that his sources said that the Giants sent Sanders a binder to prepare for their private workout. Sanders showed up to the workout without studying the binder, which did not go over well with the Giants. Shedeur is not in play with the New York Giants. As far as I'm told, Shedeur did not have a great interview with Brian Daboll in the private visit, McShay said. An install package came in, preparation wasn't there for it, got called out on it, didn't like that. Brian Daboll didn't appreciate him not liking that. Now that just sounds crazy in itself. He got called out, didn't like it, and Brian Daboll didn't like that. He didn't like getting called out. Just so petty and so immature that the narrative they tried to control on Shedeur Sanders. You know what I mean? It's always someone that just going to just make bad decisions, man. That's just my opinion. They could be right. He could be clearly right. He gave him a play installation package, and Shedeur Sanders screwed it up. But at the same time, how much does that really affect who that person is as a quarterback? How good they can play the position? Is he better than all the other prospects at the position in the draft? Don't just make your decision based off, play installation, and but at the same time, now this is serious. This is serious right here. At the same time, there are a ton of coaches that's been around who aren't too fond of coaching black quarterbacks. That's just the truth. It's been that way since day one, and it's been a fight ever since day one to get black quarterbacks into the NFL and become starters. So there's still some lingering coaches who still have that feeling of the old coaching ways of we don't want a black quarterback. So I'm not saying that they won't coach black quarterbacks, but it would have to be a last option for some of these coaches to choose a black quarterback to come be the starting quarterback for their team. Now, for Brian Daboll, it would have been better off if he just came out telling us exactly how he felt. If he felt intimidated from drafting Shedeur Sanders, if he didn't like Shedeur Sanders' confidence, he was too confident of a guy to play on his team. He can't coach confident that confident of a man. And whatever else may have affected his decision from drafting Shedeur Sanders. If he was intimidated by the dad, he just came out and told us. But from the beginning of this quarterback competition, on paper, Deshaun Watson sounds like the right pick to go with at quarterback based on his athleticism and experience. But I just don't see Watson anymore. I just don't see Watson as a quarterback that could prepare your team or take your team to the next level anymore based on what we recently saw from him in OTAs and things like that, or even last year with him passing the football. Now, I do believe the play calling and the type of offense Cleveland ran in last year and the year before that, and the play calling, all of that stuff wasn't ideal, Yeah. The play calling and the offense wasn't ideal for Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, anybody, Joe Flacco. So quarterbacks had a hard time in that offense. And yes, they struggle. I think Shedeur Sanders will play with much more confidence than Deshaun Watson, which will lead to the coach to make a tough decision that is best for the team. But let's check Shedeur Sanders out, speaking with beat writers and things like that about the upcoming season and what they can expect from him.
I feel like the Browns fans, they just want something to hope for, and they've been wanting it so long. So finally, I'm here to change that. I'm here to, actually give what they want.
A little short clip, man. He's confident. You know what I mean? He's here to give them what they want, man. He's here to give them what they want. Let's run that back one more time. Talk your shit, Shedeur. Tell them what they about to see from you, brother.
I feel like the Browns fans, they just want something to hope for, and they've been wanting it so long. So finally, I'm here to change that. I'm here to, actually give what they want.
Salute to Shedeur. Yes, definitely. Give them what they want, man. But Shedeur, man, it sounds like a man who is confident that he will prevail and deliver for the Cleveland Browns and the Brown community. But I'm starting to think Todd Monken was speaking on Deshaun Watson and not Shedeur when he complained about these quarterbacks throwing interceptions during the 7-on-7 drills. No pass, no tackling, no defensive lineman, no offensive lineman. And yeah, I feel the same way. And it's like I've complained before about Donovan McNabb. You know, when no one's out there covering receivers, you should be 100%, 99.9% when it comes to passing the football. And, you know, it was times where Donovan McNabb was throwing the ball in the dirt and things like that, and it was just them out there. We're supposed to be professional, you know, the best of the best. So I understand where Todd Monken is coming from when he's upset and speaking on his players throwing the ball, throwing interceptions in 7-on-7 and things like that. And I don't think he would get on Shedeur Sanders as much as he would get on Deshaun Watson for making those mistakes in the 7-on-7. So that's all we got for the night, man. But I forgot to show y'all this clip real quick that AJ Brown and what he had to say, because he was talking about jealousy, and we're gonna get to it. Let me find this clip for y'all real quick. Y'all bear with me. This is the clip right here.
One thing I hope we can put to bed, or you can speak to once and maybe not have to again, is the relationship with Jalen Hurts. Because that seemed to become just a central point of focus and tension towards the end of your tenure as an Eagle. How would you describe your relationship right now?
Not as close as we once were. And I believe that's fine. It's like there's no bad blood. There's actually still a lot of love. I love him to death. I want him to succeed and accomplish all the things that he wants to accomplish. I didn't truly understand why our friendship became the center of everybody's attention when it came to football, because, you know, looking back on it, you know, we haven't been as close as we were a couple of years now, but that didn't stop anything. Mm-hmm. You know, we still competed, we still pushed each other, we still led the team. So it's just kind of strange, you know. People just got so fixated on the relationship and wanted to talk about maybe from the history of this place, but you know that wasn't what this was. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm gonna say it to you. I'm gonna say it on camera. I got nothing but love for him. You know, I want him to do well.
Right.
You know, accomplish everything this heart.
Nothing but love for him. That
I think
so much love
people always just want to know why, and there's an understanding that people.
So much love that you was destined. You wanted to get up out of Philly as fast as you can. Right. You had so many issues with Jalen Hurts, but nothing but love. I don't understand these awkward relationships when nothing happened. We just grew apart and things like that.
Grow apart. What is the best way that you can put a description so people can understand?
Yeah, nothing happened. Nothing happened. You know, people just grow apart. Nothing happened between me and him or our families, wives, anything. Mm-hmm. Nothing like that ever happened. You know, but you know, life happens. You know, and you know, you just look up sometimes and you find yourself drifting away. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's fine. And I think both parties accepted that. Mm-hmm. So.
Mm-hmm. It's part of life.
Absolutely.
It's part of growing up.
Absolutely.
Not everyone goes with you everywhere.
Absolutely. Yeah,
that's just real.
Yeah.
So this is when I spoke about jealousy, and you know, whether we like it or not, you know, 9 times out of 10 we experience some jealousy, some sort of jealousy in our life, you know. And like I said, maybe it was being a little jealous of someone and their accomplishments, or someone just their swag, or whatever it may be, you know. Or you know, someone in the inner circle might be jealous of what you accomplished and the things that you got going on and the motion you got. So, you know, jealousy comes in so many different shapes, forms, and sizes and things like that. But yeah, man, I think at the end of the day, man, AJ Brown has to look at himself in the mirror, man, and have a talk with himself and figure out the issue, man. And yeah, but that was the clip I forgot to insert there and play for y'all, you know, doing this live tonight. But It was Thursday Night Vibes, man. I had fun rocking out with y'all. Season is coming up, man. And yeah, man, we're gonna keep rocking out. We're gonna keep enjoying, and we're gonna keep vibing out, man. And it's Mr. Pick Six here. Make sure y'all follow me on Twitter. You know, I need to call some fools out. Last fool, I ain't put no name on it because he wanted to be able to be back then sneak dissing and things like that. But y'all know I don't play. But it's your boy, Mr. Pick Six, man, the record-breaking cornerback. You know, last cornerback in the 50 interceptions, you know, in 10 seasons. Ain't nobody doing that. And I'm going to see y'all next time. This is your boy, Mr. Pick Six, and I'm going to see y'all next time. Until then, y'all be easy. And